Turn this to this. Catfishredneck here. Today we're doing a repair video. This is going to be on model number E115 TLC SA. It's a 1980 115 horsepower Evinrude V4. We're going to turn the old coil packs into these. I've already done two. I'm going to show you how to do the old two using CDI universal coil pack kits. I ordered these off marineengine.com by simply entering the model number into their search on Evinrude outboards, and it gave me the corresponding number. This one is 183-3737. Using today, it's pretty simple. Just need a pair of pliers. I got a long pair of curved needle nose. Standard needle nose will probably work for this application. Got a 3/8 socket. Actually, it's 7/16. Nope. It's going to be 3/8. 7/16 is different. And a knife for snips to cut the spark plug wire. So it's 3/8 for these coil packs. I had a 7/16. I was tightening some other water jacket bolts. So anyway, it'll be a 3/8 socket. Here are the coil kits from CDI Electronics. They come with a spark plug boot, the snap. We won't be using the brass piece. Comes with the spark plug wire, overly long, we won't need all that. The coil pack itself, and it comes with 3 wires. These are for various years, makes, and models. Like I said, these are a CDI universal kit. They work for multiple motors. We are going to be using this pin for the positive wire on this application. First thing we're going to do is take our ratchet and our 3/8 socket. This you want to remove the battery negative, or unhook the battery, at least remove the negative cable before you do this, because these are grounds, these are hots. Don't want to be touching those together. So we're going to take the 3/8 socket and we're going to loosen all 4 bolts that go to these coil packs. And this application will be the same on both sides. So if you know how to do one, you can do the rest of them. Alright, so we got those 4 loosened up. These are ground wires for the coil. So next thing we're going to do is just take out the all the screws. Now once you remove these top ones, they're going to have a star washer. You won't, that's just for holding that wire there. On these universal kits, you're not going to need those. Just save your regular washer. And continue removing all 4 bolts. Okay, now we have all 4 of the bolts for the coils removed. Also disconnecting the positive or negative wires from the studs of the bolts. Now you're just going to want to take a flathead screwdriver, a knife, or I'm going to probably use my needle nose here. I don't want to use a knife. So I'm just going to loosen up these spark plug holders that are connected to the head water covers. And pull your spark plug wires and your coil positive wires out of these connectors, or holders, whatever you want to call them. Little brackets. Get those out, then you just pull your spark plug wires. And then your little connector is over here. what you're going to want to do here, because we will be saving this, it's just held on this model by two little metal clamps. I just want to pop that out of there like so. Use my pliers, make it easier, and there we go. So once that is done, we're just going to unplug this by pulling it out. And we're going to want to save this piece. I'll show you later. And once you do that, your coil packs are removed. What I've done, thankfully most of you watch these videos before you actually attempt to work, is mark your coils. I'm going to be saving these because the motor was actually running okay, but these are cracked. They're looking pretty bad, and I just thought it was time to do some maintenance and just replace some of the parts that are old. So I also marked for bottom and top on my connector, so I know which coil plugs into where. So now all we got left to do is pull this plug. Probably easier said than done. I don't want to pull this out of the CDI box, so let me get my tripod here. Pull out the CDI box, we'll have some bad news. Alright, so all this is a connector, plug, two little pins, and they go into the holes there. And there's your coil pack assembly. Now those are removed, we're going to get right into putting the new ones on. So now as far as the coils go, it really doesn't matter if the top goes back to the top, the bottom, whatever. They'll work either way. I just like to mark them over here so I don't get the firing order mixed up. Not that I don't even know if that'll make a difference, but I'd rather not have this cylinder firing when this one's supposed to be firing. So here's our new coil packs. We won't have a negative wire. These new CDI universal kits have these little fins for the ground, which will ground it right to your block. Alright, so we got the new coils up on here and got the 4 bolts started. So you just want to tighten these down. Don't have to over tighten them, just snug them up with the washers. I'm going to get them tight first. They're snug. And just get them a good snug them down. Get the other one done. Okay, next step is to run I'm going to run my positive wires over to my terminal. You have to grab a Phillips screwdriver to loosen these up. Okay, so these connectors just go on to your little screw terminal here. Now they're plenty long, but before you put them on there, you kind of want to orientate them so you know you don't want them sticking out this way and have to wrap them back around. Just make sure your wires in a neater spot. They're going to be running this way. Just get them situated before you tighten them down, and it'll make your job run a little bit neater. I'm going to run this one up so they're both together. So I'll probably put a couple of wire ties on them. And I'm going to run them through here. They're probably not going to stay for now, but now we're going to get our spark plug wires ready. That's the next step. They come long. I'm going to move around this way. These come long, so we're going to have to trim them. And we'll go on the plugs, of course. I'm going to run them down and back up through and then to your terminal. They're going to be 8-10 inches long. So what I'm going to do is run those 2 wires in and then bring this up and then push this back down to hold them in place. I'm going to have to use my pliers to crimp this like so. Okay, that looks good. Now we're going to take our other one, get it on the bottom. We'll run it through our little thing again and tighten that back up. Alright, so there we go. Now we're going to have to figure out the length on these and cut them off. So obviously we got plenty of wire. I'm going to cut this one off right about here. Just get you, these got writing on them, so I'm just going by that. See where I need them off. And I'm just going to take my knife, or you can use wire cutters. Unfortunately, these pliers do not have wire cutters, or I'd use that. Alright. So once you have your wires cut, you're going to go back about a 1/2 inch, 3/8 of an inch, and take your knife or wire strippers, and you're going to want to pull the cut the jacket and pull it off. Wire strippers probably are better for this job. I'm pretty, I do this kind of stuff quite a bit, so you just got to know when to stop before you start cutting through the metal wiring itself. And get those both cut and stripped. And we come back here in a second. I'm going to show you how to attach the connector to snap to your electrode. Okay, so you just take your wire, give it a little twist, fold it back onto your plug. You're going to want to take your, first thing you want to do is get your boot. I'll just put a little spit in there to kind of lube it up. And we're going to slide this through. And once you get it into the end there, kind of just straighten out your boot and shove that through. Sometimes it's easier if you leave it long before you do this. But I'm just going to reach in there with my pliers, get a hold of that wire and pull it out. Alright, I'm going to do that to both boots and I'll come right back. Alright, so now we got that through. What we're going to do is take our spark plug or terminal connector and place the wire right inside of it like so. So the wire, you want the wire touching the metal and making good contact. Now we're just, you should get there's a pair of crimping tools for this actual job, but it can be done with a pair of pliers. You just fold these tabs over on this little connector. It's got little wing tabs like so. Just want to fold those over onto your jacket of your plug wire, and I'm going to overlap them so they're nice and tight like so. And then I'm just going to take and squeeze to make sure it's nice and tight on there and it doesn't slip or slide. You don't want a plug wire that's not tight. you get haphazard firing. Engine won't run quite properly right. So make sure that's connected well. Make sure it's snug. And you want to slide your boot. And when you do so, be careful. You don't want to pull this thing back off and have to redo it. So you want to pull your boot back out until that metal thing sits flush right up in here. And then that will snap on like so. Make sure you hear the click. Alright, so that one's on. Now we're just going to repeat the same process with that metal clip down here. Once again, make sure you can see this. Alright. So we're going to fold the 2 wing tabs over. Making sure our wire is up on top of the connector, making contact. Now, what I like to do is just pinch them together, get one on top of the other. Pinch them nice and tight so they're overlapped. And then just give them a good squeeze. And if you have to, pinch them back together and give them another squeeze. And that usually will hold it on pretty tight. Once again, we're going to run it up into the boot. And if you have to, take a screwdriver and kind of assist it and push as you pull on the boot so you don't pull that wire loose again. Get it up in there nice and snug. And snap it on. Alright, so those are connected, our plugs are connected. Last thing we're going to do now is take care of this. We're going to take care of these little pins, and I'll show you how to put them back in the connector. Okay, so we can just plug these into this connector, and hope they don't short out. So what we're going to do is take our old coil, and I want to pull the connectors out of this plug and reuse this piece. So what we're going to do is get a hold of this wire. And this is going to be my top coil going in here. Okay, I just want to firmly, but don't get too aggressive. You don't want to, if you're saving your old coil, see, that should come out like so. And then you got your whole coil in one piece. And then same with the bottom, just get a nice grip on it, but don't be too rough. These are actually coming out much easier than the other side did. And just work them out of there. The side's being a little tricky. And there it came. Alright, so we'll put these coils up. Like I said, I'm going to save them. There's really nothing wrong with them, but they're old and maintenance is calling. Alright, so this is the top, this is the bottom. So we're going to stick the bottom coil in like so. And just work that electrode up in there. Once you get it to the wire, it's going to get tricky, but you should have just enough down in that hole to get some needle nose on it. And you're just going to pull it. You can almost feel it snap once you get it to where it needs to be. So that takes a second, so I'm going to go ahead and pause it. Alright, so I actually got it really easy on the first try, but now the electrode is up in there. Like I said, you can feel them kind of click in. This part here will snap into a little, kind of like a little recessed area. You can feel it when it does. And if you pull it way too far, which is easy to do once you start tugging, just pull it back from the wire until you feel it click in there. Let's see if we can do this on camera on this side. Let's get it up in there as far as you can. Alright, I'm going to reach down in there and see if I can get a hold of it. Alright. Yep, and it clicked right in. So there's your plug. So now we can, this is pretty much the final step right here. Whoop. I'm going to plug this in. It's always the easy side you do first. When you try to do it on a YouTube video to help some folks out, it's a pain in the butt. Alright, so let me get this apart. I'm going to put a little lubrication on there. Hillbilly lubrication. Alright, let's try this again. Alright, so this thing is not wanting to go. I'm going to look down inside there and see what's going on. Alright, so what I did was I kind of pinched one of the little prongs, made it kind of flat on the tip. So I had to reach down with my pliers and kind of give it a little squeeze and straighten it back out. Then it went right in. So now we're going to snap this right back into its position. And there it is, guys. Now we got 4 brand new coils on this Evinrude 115. All it's left to do is see if it'll fire up. Alright, muster on. We're going to give her a test fire. Hold on. Got to squeeze the primer bulb. Alright guys, so that was a success. Job well done. It's always nice when they work on the first time. Right?